to another Sunday meal prep video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new here, my name is Jennifer. I like to meal prep for my husband and I for the whole week. I go ahead and make 12 meals so that we will have meals Sunday night through Thursday night. So I basically just pick 2 different dinners and make 6 portions of each, and then we just alternate those throughout the week. I usually will go ahead and make my breakfast for the week. I will make part of my lunch. This week I'm actually going to make my full lunch because I'm going to make a meal for my lunch instead of doing sandwiches, just to try to switch things up a little bit. I wasn't really feeling the sandwiches last week. Y'all know after I go a week without them, I'll be missing them and go back to them. But I am going to also make some chocolate chip cookies, I think. I've not played around with this recipe to see what the points are going to be on it yet. But yeah, so I'm going to make our meals, my lunches, my breakfast, and some dessert as well. So if that is something that you would like to see, go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. I typically upload 3 times per week. I do kind of have a flow to my videos. I have my Saturday vlog grocery haul video, and then I'll kind of talk about my meal prep, and then I have my Sunday meal prep video that comes out, and then I do vlog all week and do a weekly vlog and how I incorporate those meals into my week. And also follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here as well. And then we have a really great Facebook group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to that Facebook group, and there is a direct link down in the description box so that you can just click on that. It will take you right to it, and then you can join that. It is a great group. I highly recommend joining that. And without further ado, we're going to jump into the video real quick. I am going to go over what I'm going to make today. I'm going to get out of breath. I actually have a lot of things to cook because I'm going to cook my lunch that I normally don't, and then I have some extra little things in here as well. So I have already put on, the first thing you're going to see is me putting on some of the 0 point marinara in the crock pot. So that's already been cooking all morning. Then I'm going to use that in 2 of the meals. We are going to do lasagna for one of our meals. Charlie's going to have regular lasagna, and then I'm going to have lasagna boats, and then I will make our 2 ingredient garlic rolls to go with that, because if you know, Charlie loves those garlic rolls. He cannot live without them. The other recipe that we are going to make is and this is a Skinnytaste recipe, the crispy breaded pork chops in the air fryer. So I have it here, and I will have this link down in the description box below. I've made this a few times. It is really delicious. We just have some of the boneless like breakfast pork chops that we're going to do. I will change it up a little bit. She calls for cornflakes. I don't use those, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's easy. We do just have to kind of do like 3 or 4 batches in the air fryer because I think only 3 or 4 will fit in at a time. So anyway, with that, we are going to have my Brussel Sprouts and my Cajun Seasoned Potatoes that I love. So that will be one meal: the pork chops, the Brussels Sprouts, and the Cajun potatoes, and the lasagna. And then for my lunch, one of my followers sent me kind of a recipe that she had made up, and it sounded really good, and I thought that it could be a really good lunch idea. It's basically, and it was from Yvonne. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And it's basically going to be some diced up chicken. I'm going to saute up a bunch of veggies. I've got some zucchini, some peppers, some broccoli, and I'm just going to season the chicken up with salt, pepper, garlic salt, whatever I think of putting on there. Who knows, it may have some ground cumin and chili powder in there. Y'all know how I love that. And then we will put some marinara sauce in there as well. So I need the marinara sauce for that and for the lasagna. So at first I was just going to use a jar of the Rayo's in that, which would make it 3 points per serving. But since I was going to do the lasagna, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and make a big pot of this 0 point. We will just freeze whatever we end up not using today. And then I found a recipe for peanut butter protein cookies with chocolate chips. Now, this I think is more along the lines of a low carb recipe, but it doesn't sound completely horrible. I have not plugged it into my app yet. I will whenever I make it, and kind of play around with it. It calls for half a cup of peanut butter or nut butter of your choice, 1/4 of a cup of coconut sugar or light brown sugar. So I will substitute Swerve for that. Salt, an egg white, pure vanilla extract, baking soda, half a cup of vanilla whey protein powder, which half a cup seems like a lot, but it might only be like 2 scoops. 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, and then 3 tablespoons of mini chocolate chips, which I will use my Lily's dark chocolate chips. because that's what I have. But I don't think that these will be too bad. I don't know how many cookies it will end up making. We're just going to kind of see and figure it out as I make it. Just going to see if it says how many. Oh, it says you will have 12 to 14 cookies. So I'll try to do probably 12 cookies. You know, that's a good even number. And we'll see how they turn out. In the picture, they look pretty good. This is from wellplated.com, so I've never used any of their recipes. The pork chop recipe is from Skinnytaste. Y'all know I love all Skinnytaste recipes. And then I have my Cajun potatoes and Brussels sprouts, and then the lasagna boats. Okay, so the what I call lasagna boats is low carb lasagna stuffed zucchini boats, and this is from confessionsofafitfoodie.com. I will have all of these recipes linked in the description box down below, and any recipes that aren't linked, I will type those out, like my Cajun potatoes, my Brussels sprouts, all of that. Some of those recipes you can also find in my Facebook group in the albums. I have an album with some of my recipes that I've typed up. And anywho, with all that being said, let's get into the video. We have a lot of cooking today. Alright, I am getting ready to hop in the shower here in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and put on the 0 Point marinara sauce. So this is the ingredients for it, and this is from the Skinniest Dish. I'm sure most of y'all have probably made this before, but it requires 3 cans of 28-ounce crushed tomatoes, and I did get the Hunt. Somebody told me those were 0 points. Those public ones that I got the other day were not 0 points. So 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes, so I just did the 2 cans of Rotel, 8 garlic cloves, which I'm just going to use my minced garlic that I always use. It does call for a large yellow onion. I'm not going to use that. 2 tablespoons of dried oregano, 2 tablespoons of basil. I forgot to get out the red pepper flakes. I need 1/4 of a teaspoon of that, or more, or less, depending on whatever you want. And then 1½ teaspoons of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. So I'm just going to use this salt and pepper here. So I'm going to grab my, I'm going to grab the red pepper flakes and get all of my seasonings and stuff together, get the cans open, and then we will throw this together real quick. And then I'm just going to put it on high. She says to cook it for 8 hours, but I'm not sure if that's on low. Yeah, she says to cook on low for 8 to 10 hours to really get all of the flavors mingle. I'm putting it on high because I'm probably going to need it in about 4 hours. So, I mean, it'll be fine. So, anywho, let me get everything together, get these cans open, and we're going to throw her in our handy dandy Ninja crock pot. She's looking a little rough for wear, y'all, but she's still hanging on. I love that crock pot. Alright, I think I have everything together to throw together this marinara sauce. I'm just going to spray my crock pot real quick, and then literally we're just going to dump everything in. It calls for 8 cloves of garlic. I'm going to go ahead and just put in what I think the equivalent of 8 cloves would be, which might be like 5 or 6 of these spoonfuls like this. And then 3 cans of the Hunt's crushed tomatoes. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes. I'm just using the Rotel. I think Hunt's also makes a fire roasted tomato blend, but we always use Rotel typically. There's 2. And then all of the seasonings, I just went ahead and put them in this bowl. One extra thing that I did add was just a teaspoon of onion powder just to give it a little bit of flavor. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we have all of the seasonings in here kind of mixed up. I'm just going to dump it and stir it up well, and that is it. I'm just going to put this on high and let it cook until I get ready to. I'm using this in 2 meals today, which you would have heard in my intro. But I don't really know how much we will use. I'm sure we'll have some left over, and before we have frozen it in these Ziploc bags. So that's what we will do if we have like enough for, you know, a couple of bags or something, and then I can use it in another recipe. And I do have some of that Rao's marinara sauce that I was going to use, but since we decided to do lasagna, I'm just going to save the points. So I don't know what I'm going to pair yet with my chicken and veggies for my lunch, but I probably will make some rice to put in there. Maybe just some of my seasoned rice. Just do like a ½ a cup or something each day. I don't know. Or I could do some of the Fiber Gourmet noodles. I have some linguine that's open. We only used 2 ounces of it because we needed 10 ounces the other day, and so I have like 6 ounces I think in a pack. I don't really know how much that would make the points out to be per serving, but it should end up to be just like 2 points per serving. That's still a low point lunch, because everything else that I'm using is going to be 0 points. But anywho, let's see here. I'm just going to set it on 8 hours, even though it's not going to cook for 8 hours. Pop the lid on it. And now I will show you everything else that Charlie has to prep today. And also we have 2 roofers that just got here. I'll show you my ugly face before I get in the shower. They just pulled up. I don't know if you can see the ladder outside the window there, probably not. But I mentioned in my weekly vlog that that Charlie found a leak in the roof. And then we've also kind of like where our back porch attaches to the ceiling, there's kind of been a little leak there to where it'll drip like right by the door. So there needs to be something put there. But anywho, so they called this morning. They couldn't come the other day, and I didn't expect them to come today. So hopefully that doesn't take up too much of Charlie's time to where he can do the prep, because there is quite a bit of prep work today, I think. There's not really much meat that he has to prep other than chopping up some chicken for me, but he does have to cut up potatoes and stuff like that. So we shall see. But luckily tomorrow's Labor Day, so if it takes me hours and hours and hours to complete the prep today, it will be okay because I don't have to get up and go to work tomorrow. Super excited about that. But let me pull everything out and show you Charlie's prep and get it ready for him so that he knows what he needs to do. Alrighty, here is everything for Charlie's prep today. We'll do the fruits and veggies first. Of course, I just always wash the blueberries in the vinegar water. These peppers are actually going to be used for my lunch. We are going to have to pick up 3 additional ones to dice up, because when I made the grocery list, I meant to put 2 of everything, and I forgot because I was just reusing my list from last week, which had 1 on it. But my lunch calls for, I don't know, like a cup or a cup and a half of peppers. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 or 3 peppers and just kind of slice those up like you would fajita style, because this is going to kind of be cooked in a skillet. It's going to be a couple of these zucchinis that we're just going to chop up into chunks, some peppers, some broccoli, which I just have the broccoli florets in the steamable bags. I'll just kind of steam up and soften up a little bit and then add to the skillet, and then diced chicken. But we are going to have to make a run to the store later. The guys are up on the roof fixing. I think they found a couple of bad spots. We'll see how much that ends up costing us. But anywho, sometime today we will pick up the peppers. I'm going to use these to go ahead and just make my lunch, because I have enough diced peppers. I've already had my breakfast this morning, and I have enough to make my pizza for lunch. So we can pick those up later, and I will just, you know, insert that clip or leave it out. Y'all seen Charlie dice peppers every week. But anywho, Brussels sprouts, this is going to go with our pork chops along with the petite gold potatoes here. We would dice these up into little chunks. I love to season those up with the Cajun seasoning. It is highly delicious. And the way that I season up my Brussels sprouts, you don't even know you're eating Brussels sprouts. You bake them in the oven until they're like black and crispy on the edges. I mean, it is so good. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, you will love my recipe. And then, of course, I have my pineapple, cantaloupe, and Charlie did pick me up a watermelon because he felt like all the cantaloupes are tiny. Actually, none of the produce really looks that good. He went to Kroger this week, so he just said it was kind of really picked over. I am going to take a different lunch. I'm going to take, you know, this chicken with marinara sauce on it, but I do still like crave my fruit. I don't know. I feel like that is just something that my body needs. So I will like either eat this along with my lunch or kind of in the afternoon with my snack. And I am changing up my snack this week as well a little bit. But we will get to that later whenever I put my snack boxes together. Well, here's Mr. Nico. Everybody's too interested in what's going on outside. All the dogs had a fit, started barking, but everybody's settled down now, I guess. But Nico knows something's going on. He's like, what is that noise? What is it? But there's groceries, so that is overtaking my interest. Anywho, we'll just dice up 3 of these chicken breasts in this big pack. You cannot beat the price of those at Kroger or even at Walmart. I think they're like $10. And then he will just trim up the other ones, and we will freeze those and then use those, you know, like the next time we make taco soup or something like that, or shredded chicken or whatever. So anywho, that is what is on the agenda for Charlie's prep. Again, we will see when he gets to it and what the deal is with the roof. I mean, I'm happy that they're here fixing the one part that's like leaking into the bathroom. So, can you hear them beating up there? It's always scary to me when people are on the roof. But if there's a lot of major problems, then I'm going to call the insurance company and have them come out and look to see if we need a new roof altogether, if there's like storm damage or something. I have no idea how old this roof is. So, anywho. But I'm going to jump into the shower and we will roll into Charlie's prep now. Okay guys, quick update before I jump in the shower. I was showing Charlie everything he needed to do because he's been out there with the roofers. But we do have a little garden in the back, and he said we had some little peppers out there, which, can you see these are little baby peppers? So what we're going to do is dice those up, or slice those up to go in with the zucchini, chicken, broccoli, and use the red pepper. And I think that will be plenty of peppers in with that meal. And then we're going to go ahead and do my normal dicing on these. And then we will just have to pick up a red pepper later. I think there's a couple of other things that we need to pick up. Are we out of cat food? I see you left that cat food container out.
No, I was going to fill it out.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but we can pick up a red pepper and add to the diced peppers later. So, aren't these cute little babies? He just pulled them out of the garden. They actually smell good. I mean, I think that they're gonna be good, especially cooked. You know, he was worried that maybe they weren't ripe enough or whatever, but I mean, I feel like they are. And you know, I think cooked in with this, with the seasonings and the marinara sauce, it'll be good. So we finally get to use something out of our garden. Usually the rabbits and squirrels and stuff get to it before we can ever get anything. I think there's a couple more peppers out there, isn't there? Yeah. So anywho, so that is the plan. So we will see a couple of peppers being diced up, and then these just being sliced for the lunch meal. Now we will roll into Charlie's prep.
You got that something, baby, that I can go without, just like a poison in me. You're all that I'm about, loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I want that something, baby, 'cause I can go without. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get his suit. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love, 'cause I'm never gonna get enough. Can't say I'm hurting, baby, but I don't feel too good. It's like I'm burning lately when you're not in my blood. Loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I need your loving, baby. It's all I'm thinking of. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get his suit. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love, 'cause I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love, 'cause
All right, I have my fruit here that I'm going to throw in the fruit bowls real quick and get these in the refrigerator out of the way. This week I have pineapple, cantaloupe, watermelon, and blueberries. So let's get this done real quick.
there's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics.
are the completed fruit bowls, yogurt bowls, and my diced peppers for my eggs and my pizzas. I am not having sandwiches this week, so we do not have a sliced tomato. We do still have a tomato left. We will see if it holds up for the following week. Probably not, but we shall see. But anyhow, I'm going to put this up and we're going to get started on the potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and pork chops. Okay guys, we are ready to start on the Brussels sprouts and the Cajun seasoned potatoes. So we have them ready here, and I have 2 sheet pans that I've already lined with aluminum foil. We're just going to season both of them up and pop them in the oven together, and they're both going to cook for about probably 45 minutes or so in the oven, I would say. And I'm just preheating my oven to 400, and yeah, so let's get to it. I'll do the potatoes first, and then we will do the Brussels sprouts. Okay, so we have 2 pounds, I think, of those yellow gold potatoes that we picked up at Kroger. And what you're going to need for this is some extra virgin olive oil spray. You can just use regular olive oil if you want to spend the points or calories on it. Just do whatever you like, but I just try to save points in that area. Salt and pepper, and then Cajun seasoning, of course, garlic powder, and then, of course, y'all know my 2 favorites, chili powder and ground cumin. I love those. So what I'm going to do is spray them, season them, stir them, spray them, season them, stir them again, and then they should be good to go. So first of all, we're going to spray them with olive oil spray. And then we're going to go in with the salt, the pepper, the Cajun seasoning, and you can just do as much or as little as you want. Y'all know we like everything heavily seasoned. But man, are these potatoes good with the Cajun seasoning on it. And typically I've been buying the Badia brand, but we couldn't find them the last time, so Charlie picked up this Weber's. It's good as well. I don't really think it matters on what brand of spice you use. We're going to go in with the ground cumin, the chili powder, and the garlic powder. And we're going to stir that up really well. And then we're basically going to do it all again, just to make sure that everything is coated nicely. And then I'll probably put another spritz of olive oil spray right on top of them after I put them on the sheet pan too. Olive oil spray, salt, pepper, Cajun seasoning, ground cumin, chili powder, and garlic powder. Stir it up real good. Then I have a sheet pan here lined with aluminum foil. And I'm just going to spray a little spray on the bottom of it. Dump my potatoes on there. And I do try to spread them out in as thin of a layer as possible. I will probably stir these after about 20 or 30 minutes. Same thing with the Brussels sprouts. And then they should be good. I'm just going to spritz a little bit more olive oil spray just right on top. And these will be ready to go in the oven, but first let's do the Brussels sprouts. Okay, so we're pretty much going to do about the same thing on the Brussels sprouts as we did the potatoes. Typically I use avocado oil spray, but I'm out of it. I completely forgot that I was out. So we're just going to use olive oil spray and it should be fine. We are not going to use Cajun seasoning. We're going to use all the other same stuff, and we are going to do garlic salt as well. So same thing, we're going to spray them really well. And we're going to go in with some salt and pepper, ground cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and garlic salt. And we're going to give them a good stir, and then we're definitely going to season again. If you do not like Brussels sprouts, I highly recommend just season them, extra seasoning. You won't be able to taste that Brussels sprout taste that you probably don't like. Okay. Going to do it one more time. Olive oil spray. Again, I use avocado oil spray typically only on Brussels sprouts, so that's why I ran out. I completely forgot about it. It's been a minute since we've made these. I do think the avocado oil spray gives it a little bit of a different flavor, but olive oil's fine. And then salt, pepper, ground cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and garlic salt. And we're going to stir really well, and then they will be ready to go on a sheet pan also. Here's my sheet pan. I'm just going to spray it. Spread the Brussels sprouts out into a thin layer. And we're going to do the same and just spray the tops again. They're just really dry, so I like to add the extra spray on there. and we're gonna pop these both in the oven together. I'm gonna put it on 30 minutes and then take them out and stir them, and then we'll see. They'll probably have to cook for an additional 15 minutes or so. 400 degrees. All right, guys, we are ready to get started on the panko breaded pork chops. I have everything kind of set out here and already mixed up. I'm gonna go over it real quick with you. I will have to do this in batches, so I'll just kind of show putting one in and then show you what it looks like when it's all done. So we have all kinds of goodies here. So I've got about 2 pounds of pork chops here. I've got 2 eggs. Her recipe calls for 1, but I know that 2 may not even be enough. We have a cup of panko breadcrumbs here. I did not use the crushed corn flakes. 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 1/4 teaspoons of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. And also some salt in there, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I've also salted the pork chops as she recommended in the recipe. So what we're gonna do is, well, I have already kind of preheated the air fryer. So they bake basically for 12 minutes in the air fryer, and I think only about 3 of them will fit at a time. So as you can see, it's going to be several different batches. But I have my breadcrumbs ready. What I'll do is get these first 3 in here, and then I'll just get everything breaded and ready to swap out. So I'm going to spray that, and we are just going to go for it. We're going to dip in the egg first, and then in the breadcrumbs. And I do not have any more breadcrumbs, so I hope that is plenty. So I'm just going to try to do a light coating of breadcrumbs on each of them just to make sure that I do not run out. Okay, and then we are going to just spritz a little bit of olive oil spray right on top of them. And we're going to set this at 400 for 12 minutes. Okay, so there it is. I will show you what they look like once they're all done. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest breaded up. Okay, guys, I am ready to plate up the pork chops, the Brussels sprouts, and the potatoes. Look at these pork chops, y'all. Look how great they came out. They look and smell so good, so crispy, so easy. It just takes a little time because I had to do them in like 4 batches, you know, because you can only put 3 in there at a time because you don't want to overlap them. But while I was doing all of that, I got my eggs and bacon made, so I kind of made a little progress, and then that way we're going to do a cleanup after this, and then I'll be ready to do the lasagnas and my lunch meal. So let me tilt you down here, and we're going to plate these up. This is going to come out, the pork chops are going to be about 5 points each. The portion of potatoes is going to be 5 points, and then the Brussels sprouts are 0. So this will be a 10-point dinner for me. So on the pork chops, I really don't know. What I'm probably going to do is put like the larger ones in Charlie's container. I personally like the smaller, thinner ones, which we have enough to where we'll get like more than 1. Actually, there's exactly enough to where we each get 2. So that's quite a bit of food for just 5 points, in my opinion. And I just plugged in the ounces of meat that I had and all the ingredients and divided it into 6 servings. And so that's what I come up with. Perfect. So we each get 2 pork chops, 5 points. Then on the potatoes, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it instead of trying to measure them out perfectly, because I think we will just have enough to fill one of these little containers on each of ours. And if it looks like there's extra, then I will just cram it into Charlie's.
Let's drink up, your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could.
And then same thing on the Brussels sprouts. I'm just gonna eyeball that and divide those evenly. These are 0 points anyway.
This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. The sun sets on fire, tell me your desires. We're not getting tired, baby, take me higher.
here are the completed air fryer pork chops, Cajun Seasoned Potatoes, and Brussels Sprouts. Looking delicious. This comes out to 10 points per serving on the blue plan, of course. And of course, as I always say, be sure to do your own calculations just to double check. I'm not perfect. So, anywho, I will have the original recipe for the pork chops listed below. Of course, I always make a couple of modifications. I don't use the olive oil and stuff that she calls for. I always just use the spray. That just helps save on points. So anyway, you can see a way to save on points, then that's what I recommend on different recipes. So this is done. We're going to do a quick cleanup and then get started on my lunch and lasagna. Okay guys, I am getting ready to start the low carb lasagna stuffed zucchini boats. This recipe is from Confessions of a Foodie. I've made it several times on here. A couple of changes that I'm going to make is it calls for Italian poultry sausage. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use the 99% lean ground turkey. I will just season it up with Italian seasoning and stuff, and probably some garlic powder and onion powder and everything. You can choose ricotta or cottage cheese. I have some fat-free cottage cheese. I just need half a cup of that, an egg, half a cup of mozzarella cheese, and half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Not sure if I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do half a cup of fat-free mozzarella and half a cup of fat-free cheddar. And then I am going to use the 0 Point marinara sauce. I've had that going in the crock pot all morning. But first, you have to preheat your oven to 400 and you make your zucchini boats. Basically, you just cut them in half, scoop the flesh out the middle, and then we're just going to sprinkle some pink Himalayan sea salt on them, and then we're going to pre-roast the zucchini for 10 to 15 minutes. And then while that's cooking, I will start working on the ground turkey and everything. So, I have my 4 zucchini here. And I am literally just going to cut the ends off and cut them in half. And I have 4 just because they're kind of on the small side, but basically each night I'll get a full zucchini and like a 4th. And this does not plate up pretty, but it's really delicious. And it saves a lot of points, not using pasta or anything. Even though I really do like the Fiber One pasta that we've used so far the past couple of weeks, and I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to use it in my lunch. That will be what I make next. And Charlie's kind of making his own lasagna as well. He's using ground beef, which, by the way, when we pulled the ground beef out, it was brown, the one that he bought at Kroger just on Friday, so he had to go buy a new one. So that was kind of a bummer to have a bad one so quickly. Alright, so I'm just going to grab this little bowl. My battery's going to die. Let me swap my battery out real quick because I'm going to have my hands messy scraping this out. Hang on one second. Okay, we are back with a battery, so we are good to go. So I'm just going to go through and kind of scrape this inside portion out of these. And we'll just speed through this. The night is young, so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young, so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. Okay, I got that done. The zucchinis are ready. I just need to put some pink Himalayan sea salt on there, and then they're going to go in the oven for 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm just going to use this pink Himalayan sea salt. Okay, we're putting it in the oven. We're just going to go ahead and do like 13 minutes. We'll just split it down the middle. It says that you can keep this and use it for something else. I am not, just so you know. I would not use that for anything, so I'm throwing it out. And I'm going to grab my lean ground turkey, cottage cheese, egg, mozzarella cheese, and stuff like that. Get it all together, and then we will start browning the turkey. Alright, I am ready to start with my ground turkey. I'm just going to plop this in here. We're going to salt and pepper it and season it up good. Okay, so I am just going to go in with some salt and pepper. Again, if you use the Italian pork sausage or whatever it was that she was talking about, you would not have to do all of this, but I'm just trying to save on points by using the 99% lean ground turkey because it is 0 points, only blue plan. I'm going to go in with a little garlic powder. We're going to do some Italian seasoning. I might have to like take the lid off and sprinkle that. Charlie just opened it, it's really full. We're going to do a little onion powder. We're going to go in with some oregano and some basil. This won't take but just a few minutes to brown up, and then we will start adding in the other stuff. Okay, so the meat's about brown. I was going to show you, I have my marinara. This is the 0 point marinara. I just took that out of the crock pot. And then I have the 1 egg that we need, and it says to take the egg, the ricotta cheese, which I have my ½ a cup of cottage cheese. I'm going to mix the cottage cheese in with the egg and basically half of this cheese mixture here. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to mix half of that in with the cottage cheese and then save the other half to sprinkle on top. I think my turkey is done. It's almost burnt. I'm going to go ahead and add in the, oh, I forgot my spinach. Yeah, I forgot you have to have a couple of cups of spinach. So we're just going to put a couple of handfuls in there. It basically will wilt down to just about nothing. And then it says to add about 1/4 of a cup of the sauce to it. Going to do about that much, and then when we layer it, we'll use the other part of the sauce in the layering process. I'm just going to turn the heat off on that and let that finish wilting the spinach. It's pretty much done, and start getting set up to do the zucchini boats. Okay, I'm going to get everything set up so that we can start assembling. Okay, so I have the zucchini boats out of the oven. I do like to blot them to get any excess water because zucchini does hold a lot of water in it. That's another reason that I don't think these plate up pretty and look pretty like whenever you reheat them, but they are good. So first she says to add the sausage mixture into the bottom of the zucchini boats. Then we are going to layer in this ricotta and egg and cheese mixture.
Let me feel your love again, 'cause I've been running round in circles screaming out your name. Take me to a different place.
Then we are going to take the rest of the tomato sauce and put over them, and then top it with the cheese.
Doing what we want to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night, everything is alright. Oh, I wanna be with you, oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be that someone who can.
Okay, so there we go. We are ready to go back in the oven for 20 minutes. And it says you can put it on broil for the last few minutes if you want to, just to kind of crisp it up. I have never had to do that before, so we'll see what it looks like today. And Charlie has put together his lasagna. Here is his lasagna that he will eat this week. So I'm just going to bake those in the oven together. Okay guys, we are going to go ahead and mix up the 2 ingredient garlic rolls, which is really 3 ingredients since I use garlic powder. But I'm going to use 1½ cups of self-rising flour and then 1 cup of the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt, which I already have both of those measured out. We're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, which this is actually a ½ tablespoon, so I'm going to do 4 of these. I like to mix the garlic powder into the flour and mix it up well before I mix in the yogurt. Just give this a quick little mix, and then we will mix in the yogurt, and I'm just going to use the spoon until it kind of gets nice and crumbly, and then you are going to have to go in with your hands. So I took off my rings because it gets a little messy. Okay, that's probably good enough. We're going to go ahead and add in the yogurt, and the more you work with this, the easier it gets. I hated it the first time I used it, but it's actually pretty easy once you get used to it. Okay, at this point we're going to get messy. We're going to go in with our hands and just kind of knead it until we have a nice dough ball. And then I like to use butter spray to keep it from sticking to my hands to roll it out. That looks pretty good. I'm going to wash my hands, clean up, get my pan, and then we will weigh this out and see how much we need to roll out. Okay, I'm going to weigh this and see how many grams I have, which I have 519 grams, and we want 18 rolls. So that's 28.8 grams per roll. So we'll just shoot for about 28 or so. Some of them may be 29. That will be fine. I'm going to tear that out. And we're going to take our butter spray. I have our sheet pan here. I'm going to spray the sheet pan. And then I'm also going to spray my hand. And we are just going to pull it off until it is negative 28. And roll them out just like that. And then we should have 18 rolls, and they are 1 point each.
Taking just be. Don't take it. Taking just don't be. And live my life. Don't take it personal. I ain't lying. I ain't hiding. I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus.
Okay, so I have these portioned out. Now we are going to spray them really good with the butter spray. And then you want to take some garlic salt and do a generous little dose of that on top of each one, and that really gives them that good garlic flavor. Then we're going to put them in the oven at 350 for 12 minutes, and then I do like to move them up to the top rack on broil for just a minute or two to brown the tops. And they are yummy and delicious, one of our favorite things. And again, 1 point each on the blue plan. Okay, we're going in the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Alright guys, here are the garlic rolls fresh out of the oven. They are nice and crispy, smelling good. Took a minute to get them browned on top, but they are browned perfectly. Cannot wait to eat these along with my zucchini boats at Charlie's lasagna. Alright guys, I'm getting ready to make my lunch for the week, and I'm going to use a recipe that Yvonne, she is one of my followers, sent me. Basically it is chicken, so I have some diced chicken here that Charlie diced up for me earlier, and then a bunch of veggies. I've got 2 bags of these steam fresh broccoli florets. I am steaming those in the microwave, but then I am going to add all of these into the skillet together. I have a couple of zucchini chopped up here, a couple of bell peppers chopped up, so we're just going to saute those up and season, probably with just some like garlic salt, onion powder. I may put a little bit of fresh garlic in there, or my minced garlic. And then we'll see how I season up the chicken, salt and pepper obviously. And then we're going to mix it all together. And then I am going to add, because it's all going to be 0 points, all of those are 0 point foods, I am going to use a bag of this light penne pasta, which is supposed to be 2 points per serving, but when I divide it into 5 servings, it's coming up as 3 points per serving. So I don't know if it's 3 or 2, but regardless, it'll be a 2 or 3 point lunch. So I think that's pretty good. We are going to get started on it. I'm going to start getting my chicken browned. I have my skillet ready. And then of course I am going to spray with some olive oil spray. And I'll just season the chicken on this side before I dump it in with salt and pepper, and then do the same on the other. I think she said she just used like garlic powder and onion powder or garlic salt, something like that. We'll just put a bunch of stuff in there and see how it turns out. And then we are going to use some of the 0 point marinara in it. We'll let that get to cooking, and we'll move over here and get the veggies going. It'll take that a minute. Okay, so for the veggies, we are just going to spray with olive oil spray. And we're going to go in with the zucchini and the peppers. And then I'm going to drain the water out of the broccoli. Okay, so these are the broccoli florets I'm going to add in there with it. Give my chicken a quick little stir here. And then we're going to start seasoning everything up. So for the veggies, we're going to go in with some pepper and some salt. And we'll do a little garlic salt as well. And we're going to do a little onion powder and a little garlic powder. And we're also just going to do some ground cumin and chili powder. Y'all know I love those. And I think it tastes good on everything. And we're basically going to season the chicken up with the same things. Just going to give that a little stir and let that start cooking. Probably pop the lid on it. And then we're just going to season the chicken up the same way. We're going to go in with garlic powder, garlic salt, some onion powder, some ground cumin, and some chili powder. Okay, so we are just going to cook the chicken up until it is done, and the veggies, and then we are going to mix them together, and then we will add in some marinara sauce with it. I'll probably put the chicken into the veggie pan because it's a little bit deeper, and I don't want it to overflow once I add the marinara. And our water is almost boiling. This pot takes forever to bring the water to the boil, but then once it does, I'm going to put in this bag of penne pasta and cook it for 7 minutes. Okay, so our water is boiling, and then we're just going to go in with this full bag of the Fiber Gourmet penne pasta. Can you see that? There you go. And you can order this through Fiber Gourmet and use Roy's code. I think it is Recipes with Roy 10 to save 10%. And I think ever since I got it, I've used it every week. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this little timer here for 7 minutes. And hopefully by that time the chicken and veggies will be done. We'll see. You know, I like to make sure my chicken is extra well done. So I'm going to get these cooked up, and then we will be back when it is time to combine the vegetables and the chicken and add the marinara. Okay, so our chicken is done. The 7 minutes is up on the pasta. I just wanted to get a good little sear on the chicken. As you can see, it's starting to get crispy. So I'm going to move this off the heat and move the vegetables over here. Turn that off, and then we're just going to put the chicken into the vegetables. And then we are going to add the pasta in, and then I have some of the 0 point marinara here in this bowl. I don't know if you can see that. Here it's kind of hot, but I've got that. I hope that's enough. If not, then I will get some more since it's 0 points. But this is smelling and looking delicious, y'all. Look at that. All the veggies and the chicken. So I'm going to get my pasta. I'm just going to scoop it out with this little thing and put it straight in there. And I am making 5 servings of this. Like I said, it's either 2 or 3 points per serving. I'm not sure the WW app is counting the Fiber Gourmet pasta correctly. I need to check with Roy on that. Or I guess I can just plug the nutrition facts in and check it. Okay, so I got all the pasta, and we're going to go ahead and add in this marinara. And then we'll just see if that's enough marinara. I don't want it to be too saucy, but I don't want it to be too dry. I'm probably going to have to get a little bit more sauce. And you could totally just not add the pasta and have a 0 point lunch. Okay, sorry, my memory card got full, so I don't know what the last thing was that it filmed, but I added a couple more scoops of the marinara in there, and I think this is just about done. I'm really just going to cut the heat off at this point, and then we will be ready to plate it up. I'm going to give it a little taste test here. Pretty good. Got a good little spice to it like I like. Okay, I'm going to get this ready and we're going to plate her up. Okay, I am ready to plate this up. I'm curious to see how big these servings are going to be. I could almost do 6 probably, but we're just going to make it 5. I don't mind having a nice big filling lunch. Okay guys, I want y'all to look at this fabulous lunch that I'm gonna have this week for 3 points. That is a lot of food for 3 points, maybe even 2. Again, it looked like the pasta was not calculating correctly, so it could even be 2 points. But I'm not really mad even if it is 3. So that is gonna be my lunch Monday through Thursday. Charlie will have one that he can eat tomorrow with me since we will be here together. And then I always like to take my pizza on Friday. So, anywho. And I am still taking my fruit and stuff. I'm going to kind of eat it more like a snack in the afternoons. And I am going to take a different snack this week. So let me get this put away. And then we are going to try to make some chocolate chip cookies and then some little snack boxes. Alright, I am going to make these peanut butter protein cookies with chocolate chips. Of course, I have made just a couple of changes on here. This calls for half a cup of peanut butter of your choice, which I'm going to use this butter and peanut butter, and a fourth of a cup of coconut sugar or light brown sugar. I'm going to use Swerve. I'm going to use half a cup instead of a fourth of a cup just because it's 0 points. It calls for 1 large egg, so I have an egg there. 1 egg white, I will just use my egg whites, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I have here, a fourth of a teaspoon of baking soda, and then it says 36 grams, it says half a cup, 36 grams, I think a scoop of this is 28 grams, but I'll just measure out 36 grams of this PE Science Select Vanilla Protein Powder, and then 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And I have this is old, it needs to be used up for sure. And then it calls for 3 tablespoons of mini chocolate chips. I kind of toggled and I can go up to 66 of the Lily's chocolate chips for just 2 points. Anyway, with all of these ingredients plugged into my tracker, it comes out to 1 point per cookie if I make 12 cookies. So we'll see how many I come up with, but I'm just going to try to make it into 12, and I'll probably weigh it and divide it out that way. I think this will be a nice thicker mixture. This came from wellplated.com. And of course I will have the recipe listed below, but I do always like to make my little notes on there, which I wrote 2 points each because I was going to use my nuts and more salted caramel, but I need to change that to say 1 point, or depending on whichever type of peanut butter you use. And I have this one. I had ordered 2 or 3 of these. I actually forgot about it, but this is a good way for me to use it up. This is okay, but it is not my favorite, but I think it will be fine to use it in the cookies. And it cuts down and makes it 1 point instead of 2. If I use the nuts and more, it would be 2 points per cookie. So hopefully these will still be good. Let's get to it. Okay, so basically it says to combine the peanut butter, the coconut sugar, salt, egg white, vanilla extract, and then mix briskly until ingredients are well blended. I always like to start with my eggs and then I will add the other items. So we're going to have 1 egg. Okay, so I have my 1 egg in there, and then we're going to do 1 egg white, which is, so 3 tablespoons is 1 egg white, which is 46 grams. So we're going to weigh that out. And then we're going to go in with the peanut butter. So we need half a cup of peanut butter. Can you open that? Hold, we cannot open the peanut butter. Okay, while Charlie's trying to open the peanut butter for me, we will go ahead and add in everything else. So the coconut sugar, which we are going to do a half a cup of Swerve instead. Of course, I'll make a mess, but there we go. Half a cup of Swerve. And he finally got the peanut butter open. These jars are really hard to open on this butter and peanut butter. I don't know if anybody else has that issue. So I'm just going to measure out a half a cup. Plop that right in there. And then we are going to do the half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which this is a fourth of a teaspoon, so I'm just going to do 2 of those. And lots of times I don't even measure vanilla, but you know, I'm trying to follow the directions. So let's see here, we got peanut butter, sugar, salt. We need a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, egg white, and vanilla. Now we mix briskly until this is combined. Okay, I think that's pretty well combined. It's pretty runny, so I'm hoping this protein powder and coconut flour thickens it up. Now it says to take this fourth of a teaspoon of baking soda and sprinkle it over the top, which seems kind of odd to me, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle that over the top. And then we are going to go in with the protein powder. It says 36 grams. 36. There we go. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And it just says to try to work this in. It'll seem thick at first. Then we will add in the chocolate chips. In my opinion, it does not seem too thick. In fact, it almost seems runny. Make sure I got everything. I mean, it seems okay, but that seems pretty runny. I actually may go in with just a tad bit more of this vanilla protein powder. I'll just have to adjust my measurements. I don't know if it'll really change the points or not. Because it says half a cup of vanilla protein powder, and then in parentheses it says 36 grams. Well, that little scoop, 36 grams, that's not half a cup, I don't think. Now this is seeming better. This is seeming thicker, like a chocolate chip cookie mixture. See that? That's looking good now, I think. Now we're going to go in with our 60 Lily's baking chips. No, 66. We get 66 of them. I will count them real quick. Okay, so I think this is thick enough. Maybe I went a little overboard with the vanilla. We'll see. But we're going to go ahead. I've counted out 66 of the Lily's chocolate chips. And we're going to fold those in, and then we are going to portion this out into 12 cookies. Okay, I think these are ready to portion out. I'm going to clean up and get my baking sheet. Okay, so it says to line a cookie sheet with parchment paper. So that's what I've done. And then I'm hoping that this will perfectly measure out to 12 cookies. We'll see. So it says to kind of flatten the cookies a little bit, because it says these will not flatten out whenever you bake them. So it says to use your fingers, but I guess I can do that. I'm just afraid it's going to stick to me. Okay, it says to bake for 5 to 6 minutes until the edges are barely golden brown and dry to the touch, but the middle seems fairly doughy. Do not overbake. So these are like my other chocolate cookies, to where they're going to be a little mushy and then kind of set, hopefully. So we're going to go in for 5 minutes and then see what we got. Okay, here are the cookies out of the oven. They still seem pretty soft. I've left them in for like an extra minute or two. I think I did 7 minutes, and they said only cook them for 5 to 6, which they are kind of brown on the bottom. So we'll see. They may just kind of be like my chocolate cookies, to where they're kind of soft and they will just kind of set, you know, as they cool off. It said not to overcook them, and I know if you overcook my chocolate cookies, then they would get hard as a rock. So I think these are going to be good. We will see. Again, they are a point each. And I don't know how many it is if you eat more than 1, 2, you know, if it does Weight Watchers math or what. We will just see this week as I eat them. Okay, so for my snack boxes this week, which I've never made a snack box before, but I decided to do some just raw almonds, which I'm only going to use 9 grams, I think. I don't really know how much that is. That could be like 3 almonds. We'll see. I'm trying to cut the points down, but that's like 1 point's worth of almonds. I may end up doing more and doing 2, but I'm going to use almonds. I'm going to use these turkey snack bites. I thought that these would be 0 points, but I'm not sure if there's something different about these, but they are not 0 points. I could have sworn that I've gotten turkey sticks before that were 0, but anywho, Charlie might have picked up the wrong thing, but they do say turkey snack bites natural. Anyway, For 7 of these, it is 2 points, and then we're gonna do 1 of the string cheeses, which is 1 point. So, I'm gonna see how much 9 grams of almonds is. I just thought this would be something different, you know, kind of more of a high protein. I always get kind of snacky in the afternoons. That's 9 grams. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 almonds. Oh wait, it's 8 grams. There we go, 9 grams. So that's all you get for 9 grams. That's not a lot. Let's see here. Let me toggle up to it switches to 2. Because I mean, 1 more point would be worth it. Okay, so I can do 16 grams for 2 points. Oh, that was just a couple more. That's what you get. 16 grams of almonds for 2 points. And then we are going to go in with 7 of these turkey bites. Okay, Charlie's going to go ahead and cut the string cheese up for me. So we will go ahead and measure out 16 ounces of almonds and 7 turkey bites. Again, I will have my fruit and stuff to eat with this in the afternoons as well. And they did not have the WW string cheese, so Charlie got this light Sargento when he went to the store, and it does scan in as 1 point, just like the WW brand, so that's good to know. So here is 1 completed. It has the string cheese cut up in there, the 16 grams of almond, and the 7 pieces of turkey. It doesn't look like much, but hopefully it will be a nice filling little snack in the afternoon. And we'll see how we like that. I'm not going to do my 5 for 1 brownies this week, y'all. Y'all, it's 7 o'clock. I have literally been cooking all afternoon. I've been standing on my feet. I am tired. But we have got her done, I think. And we're going to set it up and close this out. Alright, we have finally finished this meal prep. Y'all, look at this spread of food today. So over here I have my usual, my 7 containers of yogurt and my 7 containers of fruit. This is the air fryer pork chops with the Cajun Seasoned Potatoes and the Brussels Sprouts. This is a 10-point meal. The pink ones are mine and the blue ones are Charlie's. I did kind of pile a little bit more potatoes up in his, but not really that much of a difference. Here we have the zucchini lasagna boats for me and the lasagna for Charlie. These just don't really plate up well. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in this or if I'm going to plate it up separately, but it's not something that looks pretty, just FYI. But it's delicious. I cannot remember what the points are on this one off the top of my head. I'd have to get my phone. I don't even know where it's at. I will try to leave it on the screen here. Of course, I will have the recipe and everything linked in the description box below. And then, of course, we made the garlic rolls to go along with our lasagna night. And then I went ahead and made me this lunch, which is actually looking pretty delicious and everything. And I think it comes out to 3 points per lunch. I will eat this Monday through Friday. Charlie will have one of them on Monday with me. He is still not working this week. I did something different this week and decided to make up these little snack boxes, which we didn't take the lids off these, but it is literally just some turkey sticks in there, a few almonds, and a string cheese. This is a 5-point snack box. I tried to make it 4, but then you only got like 3 or 4 almonds, and it wasn't really worth it. So, anywho, we will see how that fills me up in the afternoons. I get kind of snacky and kind of feel like I need more protein. I tried this new chocolate chip recipe today. Chocolate chip cookie recipe today, and I'm not sure how those have turned out. I literally just pulled those out and put them on that plate to let them cool completely before I can eat it. And then I have my bacon and my scrambled eggs ready for every day this week. And thank God I am off tomorrow because it is Labor Day, because I am exhausted and have been in this kitchen all day long. But anywho, I have completed another successful meal prep. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. This one was a long one. I'm going to tell y'all this has taken all day long. I've almost been in tears a couple of times because nothing seemed to go right today, but we got her done and it is going to set us up for success this week. I hope that y'all try some of these recipes. We have had the lasagna boats and the air fryer pork chops before. They are delicious. My lunch meal will be new to me. The cookies are new. I guess that's the only new things that I really made this week. But again, I always like to try to set myself up for success each week. And look at this spread of food. I have snacks, I have breakfast, I have lunch, I have pretty much everything that I'm going to need. And it is ready to go. So, anywho, if you enjoyed this video, please click like down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching.
Do you like it better when the sky is blue?